Page 4, Day's End. 4/4 time, 1 sharp in the key signature. Are we in G major or E minor? Because it could be either one. Well, it's the overall sound of it. Does it sound, because those two harmonies sound different. You can usually tell playing through the piece which the harmony it is. Generally, we can look at the last measure here. Ends there, it kind of sounds like E minor to me. Make sure you can do the scales, 2 octaves up and down for G major and E minor. I have videos on them. Just do the beginner and intermediate levels on the videos. Please learn the scales. It will help making these or playing these pieces so much easier. Doesn't hurt you to do the arpeggios either, at least 1 octave up and down, so you know what they are. You know what the 1 chord is. So at the beginning, just a bunch of 8th notes, no big deal. Just 1. Now, just they're 8th notes. Don't hang on. I have a tendency to hang on to things. Don't. Just 8th notes. Now, that's a B there. Careful. So forth. Let's go over to measure 8. So let's measure 2nd line. You're here. Hold these notes down the whole time. You got voices going on. Hold the D down when you play that. Here. And then here. And then you go on. F natural. Get the idea. Measure 13. Accidentals. Doesn't hurt to use 1 and 5 because the only notes we're playing are black keys. So. The 3rd finger. Hold that G down. Measure 17. Just come up here. Isn't that nice? It's a G and a C. You should know those notes. And then go on. So forth. Let's go down to measure 25. Here. We have, a little bit of syncopation going on. Well, that throws some people. So what you can do in that case is simply take out the little tie temporarily and play all the notes. There, and then once you have a handle on that, once you have the idea, go ahead and put the tie in. You just hang on to the note rather than playing it again. Cross over, and then the right hand does these. That's what the RH is for. And then a E, B, and a G sharp. And the last note has an AVA under it, so you go down. Hold the G sharp up. Here. On measure 29, where you hand, you can also tell by where the stems are going. The stem goes down. Now, not everybody does it, so you can't rely on it 100%, but it's something to look for. If they didn't put in the RH, the stems would tell you what's going on, because typically in music, when notes get that high up in the staff, the stems go down. If you look around at music, it depends on where the note is in the staff, whether the stem goes up or down. Well, here, the stems are going up, and that indicates that the right hand's going to play the ones with the stems going up, and the left hand does it. So the left hand does the first one, and then the right hand does the stems going up. Here. And you could have done that if you have a really big hand, but no, just the right hand's there, use it. And then hold it down as you play the last note. Yeah. As far as articulation goes, it's slurring. Just put in the slurring, and it overlaps. So it's here. Well, you have to lift up between the slurs. There's rests in there. Isn't that sweet? Well, that makes it a little easier. Okay. So put in this, just connect them all with the fingers. Make the finger do the work. You can't connect it, things like at measure 17 going on. I can't connect this and this. I have to lift up and move. All right, do what you got to do, but don't have a big silence in there. Ideally, they would be connected. We'll fix that later. Right now, we're just working with the hands. Then try putting in the dynamics. Moderately soft, whatever you think moderately soft is for the MP, mezzo piano, and this is both hands. Now, when you get to measure 4, that is moderately soft. The left hand really needs to be soft there. And then the left hand can come back up to moderately soft going on at measure 5. And when you get to measure, 8 at the end of the line here, and then go up to just a hair louder, and then going on measure 9, you're going to be moderately loud. The left hand needs to be soft here. And then at measure 9, the left hand comes up. So forth. So when the hands are playing together, like at the end of the first, second, and last line on page 4, the left hand needs to be in the background. It's the right hand that has the melody. Otherwise, the left hand can play out. Isn't that sweet? Now, when you get to the bottom of page 5, because at measure 25, you're soft. I didn't cover that because you can read the dynamics. You're soft there. Whatever you think soft. It's softer than you were at the beginning, just a little bit. All right. So 28, you're soft. This is all soft. There's a poco rit there. A poco ritardando means slow down a little bit. So again, a measure 28. And they ended it on what's known as a Picardy third. Isn't that sweet? In other words, this has been an E minor. Well, we ended it on an E major chord. We simply take the chord, E minor, and Picardy third. You take the third of the chord and you just raise it up half step. That makes it a major chord if it starts out minor. If it starts out major, you don't raise it up again. And a lot of times, minor keys would end in that. They'll end on a bright note. So it's just, you've been, then brighten it up. Yay, team, the sun came out and all that junk. Speed-wise, about where I'm going, I think, is this. Don't rush it. Just nice and lazy. They give you metronome marking. You can check those out. To get into the atmosphere, you're just going to start interpreting it. We want to see what we can do with that. They've got pedaling throughout. And since this book is put together by the composer of the piece, I'm assuming this really is the pedaling he wanted. And he's smearing everything. But then a lot of pieces, they want this. They want this atmosphere, this misty, this foggy, this blurry thing. They want that. So it's overlapping pedal. So the notes go down first and then the pedal. And when I change the pedal, it's after I play the notes. So it overlaps just a little bit. Now at the end of the first line, before I go to measure 5, I like to hear the phrasing. So in that case, I'll probably lift the pedal with the hands. So there's just a speck of silence. It's like taking a breath. So measure 4. So there's just a speck of breath. So it's not marked that way, but that's again, it's interpretation. So and that's how I would prefer to interpret it. I want to hear this phrasing. Again, into the second line, lift up. And I'm doing that at the end of each line for the phrasing. Now, when you get to the last line, measure 13. overlapping everything. I did not, you see the slurs? Like he's got, I went ahead and did the overlapping, which covers that up. It runs it all together. But at the end of the line, I'm still going to lift up. So just a little bit of silence before I go on. This is how we connect now the right hand. And if you want, in my opinion, you could put in the phrasing like on the first line on page 5 between the second and third measure. I could put in lift the pedal up with the hands to have a little silence. So it sounds like this. Lift up. See there, like at the beginning in measure 21, the phrases are overlapping. So the pedal's fine the way it's written. So forth. But then at the end of the line, they'll measure 24. Again, I'd lift up. And I tend to want to lift up here too, between each of these phrases. So just a speck of silence. I measured 25. Now, something that may help make this measures 28 and 29 a little more tolerable for you. It took me a while to grasp this, because I would hear this kind of a thing. What are you doing? But actually, if you just kind of relax and see if you can actually enjoy that mess. Sometimes the effect is just, it transcends. It just sends you off into another level of spirit. I don't know how to describe it. It's just amazing when it works. Right before you push down on that last chord, it's just that all that stuff. It's what's going on, and then it resolves right there. Now, when I play the last note, I still want to hear that note, so don't drown it out. You hear that last note really probably should be very soft. If you can do it soft, I stroke the key very gently with a loose wrist on that. Can't see it very well, but that's what, on a piano. I don't know about an electronic piano how you can do that, but just play that last note really soft. And that's now you get into it and you start interpreting it and you experiment with the pedal. He's suggesting this pedal overlapping thing all the way through. Part of what they are doing on these books is they're making the pedal simpler for you. So they're simplifying it, but I like to complicate things, so I typically make it a little harder. But my impression of this might go something like this, and then if I played this afternoon, I'd play it differently, because I play them different every time I play them, because I play by feel, and it's based on how much feel or what I'm feeling, or how much coffee or wine I've had. I'm not sure. Whatever.